Yo, what's poppin', guys? Today we got some branded Dracotail, and I have the deck list hidden somewhere in this video. Ooh, maybe you can find it. Stick around and you'll definitely see it anyways. So we're gonna be going second a few of these times, and I'm just gonna fast forward this entire combo, tell you what they're gonna end on. They're going to have Horn, Flame, an unknown back row, which is most likely Sting at that point, or maybe it's like an Imperm or a Called By. So you have to keep everything open basically as a possibility. Then they're going to have the Gulamel, and they're going to make the Seals right here, which can bounce a guy and then float into the Labubu to go for another fuse. And in their hand, we know they have Femina, Lucius, and another Labubu. Well, actually, it's perfect timing. Crazy. So we opened Brafu because we're just the best player in the game. And now, essentially, if they flame the Branded Fusion, we are very sad. So I'm going to try to bait it out beforehand. So I'm going to go for Lost. I think this is a misplay. This opens up to having it get just popped for free by Gulamel or by Urgula. And I'm not fusing now because Flame negates the effect and not the activation, so they can actually negate it. So I should keep this until right before I'm going for the fusion. Yeah, so that's kind of sad. So we're gonna go ahead, get the stuff in rotation. I think it's add itself back for free, or I could just add it now. It's good at playing through disruptions. So here they're going to go ahead and banish the branded in white. No monsters in grave, so at least we have that value. That would have really hurt on Albion after the Brafu, for example, because it removes all my Albazes. So I'm going to go for battle phase. Yeah, I forgot what he bounced actually. Oh yeah, the Quem. True, he bounces the Quem. Yeah, because otherwise, I mean, he's dead anyways, right? And then he summons Labubu, main phase only, and we beat that thing too. So now he's going to use Flame on the Thrust because this thing definitely threatens everything, and now I lose the loss because I'm a dumbass. I should have lost the Albert. Nobody cares about Albert. I should have just had Lost here, get a free search, get to cook him on resolution, everything. And it turns out he has Maxi as well, right? So that sucks. He's going to go ahead and use Femina here, which is too late to go into the Secretarion because this will only prevent activations of dragons and spellcasters, and he's already activated. This does keep me off of going through Lubellion here, so I do lose this for follow-up. So it's not the worst play from him, but it could have been better. Now I just go straight into Mirror Jade, who is a worm. It's still in defense position because I don't want to just get bounced. I want to use this to like wipe his board. We have to send the other Albion, so we still get one in the graveyard. Exactly. And we have to use this now because we're getting permanently negated by the Labubu here. What you could consider doing here is you let yourself get negated, and then you can send another dude from the extra deck on the next turn as well. But I think I just want to delete the Secretarion Dragon way more than I want another send because this turns off all my dragons, right? That's kind of not good at all. So we're just going to add back a ton of cards to our hand. We have good follow-up. I have Banishment, which isn't live because the one I summoned is the banished one, and the only guy in grave can't be summoned because he wasn't special summoned properly. Like I didn't fusion summon him. So he needs to actually out the Mirror Jade first. Yeah. So Femina apparently has 2500 defense, so I get sacked by Regenesis. He goes into an Omni Negate. I'm cooked now. I get Super Omega murdered. And he's going to go Arthalion. And he's going to add back his own stuff because he's just going to use the Gulamel to pop this, he thinks, except the secret effect of Branded opening the graveyard will protect it. I just need to wall up. I feel confident that I could probably play the game if I could wall up. So I'm just trying to live right now. And he actually negates this, which is a misplay because now my trap is live. And he should just kill me here because he only dies in the end phase. So this is the point where they threw the game. Now I have a target for banishment in the graveyard and he can't negate it. And now I just fuse off this kind of Dragon Sapelia. I have a live Mirror Jade and he's cooked. GG. here we're going to be going first into Yummy Mitsurugi. We're going to use the Rahu, sending a dragon. That's going to let us add it right back. And then because we have a dragon, we can use the Branded and High Spirits on our dragon. Send the Titaniclad so we get the Quem into rotation. Search for the kit and then get sad because we can no longer search for Branded Fusion. Already pressing. Quem gets to come out though. Send the Albaz. You have Cartesia in hand for a discard. But Branded in White, if it's discarded off of the Albaz, we actually have to reset it in the end phase. So they're going to go ahead and lead with their Mitsurugi stuff here. Summon the Amino. And I need to droplets here to protect my Quem because that's a disruption. You don't care about Arthalion here in this variant of the deck because we're so heavy on the branded stuff. He's just there for like the bounces, right? Go ahead, keep comboing off. They have the Yummy stuff as well now. And I feel like this is a misplay here. Surely they have a way of not playing this hard into the Albaz. There's probably something better they could have done, maybe. Link here will matter. I guess he gets the other field, so we're pitching this. But he goes for the Acroquay, so it's probably correct this way around because it's actually going to summon a Yummy from the deck. If any monster leaves the field by an opponent's card effect. So we're just going to Mirror Jade the next guy. He lowers my attack. I do not care. Should still have the surprise. Boy, he doesn't see value in going for it. Maybe he's only on one Snatchy. I don't know. We're blowing up his entire board during the end phase anyways. Cartesia's going to come back. Boom. Arthalion gets to come back because multiple guys get sent to the graveyard. This is useful for just going for lethal. Branded in White resets itself. Albion adding the Lost for next turn so they can't do anything against us anymore. And we're going to go ahead, Branded Lost. Use the Ketu to add the Urgula. I'm just going to pitch Sanctifier to search for the Mercurier. I'm actually out of guys to make, right? There's Rindrum. I need the Lubellion, and I want to fuse into the Albion. So I might as well send Sanctifier because I'm not going to use them this turn anymore. And then I want to get this so I can have the Monster Negate for Phimena or this thing. But it's actually just not even live, so it's not like that matters. There's terrible timing on this because he can't actually respond here because we're under Branded Lost. So I'm just going to murk his entire field. Can't respond here. There's one back row left. Blow up the entire field. Kit gets to come out now. This time we get to resolve her to grab the Branded Fusion. And it's just game on board here. And for our third replay, it's actually a slightly different deck list every single time. I'll be sure to show them right after this replay as well. So we're going to go ahead and lead with the Sengenjin here. And the thing about this is if I Ash the Sengenjin and it's pure Millennium, then basically any other Millennium card is just a combo anyways. And like that's their entire deck, right? I should hit Shield or Blue Eyes probably if I'm going for that. But essentially they still get there anyways off of any two cards that just play through hand trap, right? If it's just the engine, it could be Fiendsmith combo, it could be Orcus, it could be Yummy, they could go for Zombie Vampire, so I could try to hit something better there, but I think to just get so much advantage off of that already without even committing a normal summon, I'm kind of screwed either way. So I'm hoping that in 46 cards, they're just bricking, because I don't see this hand realistically breaking one of the boards, especially even if the activation is negated. I can only use each effect once per turn, so we're fine here fortunately, and we drop Branded Fusion off the top because we're just the best player to ever exist. Now it could be that they just completely bricked because they didn't even attempt to play any extenders at all, or it could be that they have up to 4 hand traps in their hand. So because we win regardless, if this is like the 4 pieces of Exodia in his hand and he's bricked up, you got to play around it being a bunch of hand traps. So we're not just going to lead Branded Fusion and get completely cooked by Ash, Imperm, Impulse, Veiler, Mourner, Bell to some extent, possibly. We're going to go ahead in the draw phase, play around the Droll as well. And we get Ashed on this. So we've already gotten rid of the Ash by playing it safe and not griefing our Branded Fusion, thinking, oh, this guy's bricked, you win for free, right? They're bricking on something. So you always want to play around what it could be. And we even eat a Veiler here on the kit. So essentially, we just get to resolve Branded Fusion for free here, right? Because they're forced to interact with this in case I search Branded Fusion. And if I don't get Branded Fusion, because I already have it, I would just search for a Branded Lost here, right? Put back the dead High Spirits, and we're super chilling, right? There's less Veilers in rotation. It's on 46 card. It's very unlikely to hit it. And we're gonna go ahead and just go for Albion, sending the Frixel, so we get into the detail stuff. Gonna trigger this, set a Rahu. Fuse off our Dark for the Lubellion. Gonna go ahead, just pitch the other dead cards. So we get to keep a monster in hand for the Rahu. Very important, otherwise it's dead. And here we send Pan because I'm a dumbass. This should 100% be Urgula, so I can just pop the Sengenjin. Because Can't Be Destroyed by Monster Effects is its monster effect and not its spell effect. So I can just pop this. I should most definitely pop this to remove his follow-up in case anything goes wrong in this turn. For example, this kind of goes wrong this turn. So we're using the Arthalion to bring back Ash because of simplified game state. And if anything happens, Ash is super cooking them. Very nice for recycling hand traps. And now we got to think, right? How do we get follow-up through Nib? So we get to resolve Albion if it gets tributed off, right? And that's kind of it. I'm not on banishment. I'm only on branded in red here, so it's not exactly what you would call live. So we need to get something else in the graveyard, which is the Titaniclad. And the way to do that is to activate Mirror Jade. He doesn't control any monsters. If I banish myself, I lose the Mirror Jade, which sucks. Because if you can check here, little spoiler, I'm only on 1 Mirror Jade actually. If I lose Albion, I don't get the graveyard effect, which sucks. And if I lose Arthalion, I don't care because this card has already like fulfilled its purpose completely. So we're gonna go ahead, get rid of this, send it to Titaniclad. Now Mirror Jade also just wipes his nib anyways in the end phase, so that's pretty goated. Pan is going to set the Flame, which just wins in these game states together with the Ash especially, plus all this stuff, and then we just pop his token anyways. Here, I think this is a misplay. I don't think I should be sending the Branded Retribution here because I need to have like the Albaz thing engraved, right? So I can use the Branded in red. I think that's a misplay. Also, in case like Veiler or something, or he has a way, like he was holding the last disruption because he thinks, oh, he's gonna nib me anyways, right? And then I get hit by Ghost Mourner or something on this, I would be really sad. So it's better to just dump Albaz off of the guy, or just not dump off of the guy at all and just keep the name in graveyard. It's probably better to dump Albaz off the guy and then just send another copy of him off of Quem. I don't think I really need the follow-up here that I'm getting off of the Retribution. I think I should be good here. So good thing we added back the Ash because this keeps him off the Millennium Ankh. And Sengenjin counts as a continuous spell, which is really funny because Flame just Giga cooks him here. And now we still have the Brandon Red. We have the Albaz. It's just Jover. All right, so here's the 3 deck lists I have in the order that I played them. Be sure to stick around after this. I'm playing some Festival duels. I have some replays there, which are pretty nice. It's the Fusion X Synchro Plus Festival, so it's essentially just full power anyways. playing against actual real decks like a Dracotail there and Azamina White Forest. So stick around for that as well. Here we have our first deck list. We're only running just the branded cards in this one. Actually, the detail stuff was added in the next one, which is here. We're only playing a very small Dracotail package here. We have the Frixel, which you need because it's a light for Albion. We have the Labubu because it gives you a non-targeting negate. It can also kind of be a play by itself. It's a dragon. It's a dark for Lubellion. If you're under like a Fulos or a Maxi, you just want to go straight into the stuff, but still access your Dracotail engine. We're on a Phimina because this card is good. I don't believe in playing 3 of them in a 60 card branded variant because you are just simply not going to open whatever you want to go into anything. Like, you'd realistically have to open like Cartesia plus Albaz for it to be like anything real, or like, I don't know, Serenir, Quem, make a Secretariat, hope you're sacking Detail. I think having the 1 is great because you can keep adding it back off of stuff like the Urgula, which also pops the back row. And then we're on 3 Rahu because it's branded fusion, but for Dracotails. We're on 2 Ketu because I only own 2 copies. We should definitely be playing 3 of that. And then I'm only playing the Flame because I think the Spell Negate has the most value. And I only wanted to have a 1 payoff off of this to just keep it small and concise, keep up the grind game. I only have 1 of each of the guys in the extra deck paired with the Secretarion. The rest is all just standard branded stuff with a little bit of spice. And for our final deck list, we are playing all of the spice. There's more Dracotail cards in here. We've also added the Horn, instantly wins the Yummy matchup, really good in some other matchups as well. Also playing the Lucius as well. Have the Vice King Requiem to go for the lock in case we need to. And this is heavily inspired by Metagames GX, including stuff like the super spicy Trishula tech, which can actually bridge your engines across. So if you have like a pure Dracotail hand or something, you can then sack off the Arthalion plus a Secretarion plus a dragon that you revive off of this, go into Trishula, banish a card from the top of their deck. Then you get to look at and banish a card from their extra deck, which is nuts. And then you banish from your own deck the Mercurier, which then gets you into the branded side of your combo. Plus, you now know what they're playing and know if you want to pivot into going for the Requiem lock because it will instantly win the game for you. So I think that's pretty cool. We also have the Philia Regis. It's only an SR and it's like budget Mirror Jade. It's literally Mirror Jade at home. You just banish stuff on field or even in graveyard, which is very nice because this is the way that branded actually gets to interact with your opponent's graveyard. All right, and now we're off to some festival duels. Now, if you're thinking, oh, hold on, this is just a festival, it's going to be low power, there's nothing like that cracked in this, right? Well, these guys are actually playing Azamina White Forest, and they're going to combo off so hard that I'm simply going to pause the recording and then tell you what the game state is at the end. All right, so crazy board, full setup. So what do they have here? This lets them summon out a Synchro Tuner from their extra deck, which could be the White Forest chick that books your entire field, right? Just flips your entire board face down. Not super terrible because we can still fuse with face downs. They have an Omni Negate that negates the effect and not the activation. That means that my second Rahu is dead because I can only activate it once per turn anyways. Otherwise, I would consider leading with this. It just puts up a lot of pressure since I can chain block everything and just out the Sylvia anyways, more or less. This gives destruction protection while they control 2 or more Diabell monsters, which is going to be these 2. This lets them pop 2 if he activates an Azamina or Sinful Spoils card. More on that in a second after we look at the Saint Azamina, which says I cannot target my own cards in my own field, graveyard, or banishment, and I cannot target this card either. Now, for the back row, we know the middle one is the Deception, which is the continuous spell that gives follow-up. The one on the far right is the Morian, which flips one of my dudes face down. That's not as dangerous for us. And we know that his left back row is the Azamina Apes, which lets him, or Aphis, I don't even know, whatever this is supposed to be. That was actually nice artwork. This bounces in this game state, up to 5 cards I have to the hand, which could be kind of awkward. So we are going to go ahead and lead with a way to just get rid of the Omni Negate, since that's the most dangerous thing for me currently. We're going to use Albaz, pitch one of the dead Rahus. It's going to force out the Omni Negate. I get to keep the Albaz as well, which is pretty juicy, I guess. At least we still have it, right? Gonna go ahead, use the Rahu, send the Malulu from deck and the Urgula from hand for the Arthalion, which is super goated. So what do I do here? I'm gonna go activate this, and the Arthalion. And what do we target here? If we target the Diabell, just change it, it doesn't matter. If we target this card, does nothing, we don't care at all. This thing lets them pop 2 cards. And I can't actually target this, and I can only target monsters, so the only target I want to hit is the Moa Regina here. Now the Urgula lets me pop a back row non-targeting, and the Labubu lets me negate a monster non-targeting. So in what case do I want to do what? So my opponent can still chain here, obviously, right? So we have to think about the flowchart. What do we beat when? If they use one of the back row traps, we are obviously going to destroy the other one because that clears all of their back row. If they don't use them and hope I hit the wrong one, I have to make sure to hit the correct one. And that's going to be the Apes, the one that bounces all the guys, because I'm just flipping one of my cards face down. Does not matter. I can still just fuse them off. I really don't care about that. That one's not important at all. So, yeah, they're kind of cooked in those regards. Now about the Labubu, if they use the Diabell, then I am obviously going to negate the Saint Azamina because it doesn't target. I can get rid of the Floodgate effect on it, and there's no point in negating any of the other cards, right? Because this thing is going to be gone. This thing's already been spent. It's only the Saint Azamina that I care about. If they don't use the Diabell, I will negate this, because I can then just Mirror Jade off the Saint Azamina or something, right? So that's what we're going to go for here. They're going to activate the trap to, for some reason, flip down this. I think this is a mistake. Because of how the flowchart works, they should have not activated any of the trap cards. I pop the Apes, I negate the Diabell, and then later on, they can chain Diabell to something and flip it face down. And then it still gets to resolve. So they still get out a disruption that way. But the way they did it here, there was too many chain links, too complicated. They just messed up. They flipped the dude face down. He still goes back. Kind of unfortunate. There goes the other disruption. Their pops really don't matter. This thing is negated. They've lost everything. We now get the thrust for Branded Fusion. It's super Jover. I'm just going to send Lubellion because I already have my Dracotail stuff in rotation, and I am not big brain enough for like Golden Sword Soul Giga Chad lines or something. Yeah, and it's going to come back now. Pretty spicy. We have more bodies to be over people with. And I want to get into my Branded Lost before I activate the Ketu to fuse again. So that's what I'm going to go for. Set up the Lost, activate this here, grab the Phimena to then fuse. Make the Secretarion. It's going to add all the stuff. I'm gonna go ahead and grab the Quem. We haven't normal summoned yet, which is hilarious, honestly. Kind of peak. It's gonna send the Cartesia, and then we use the Mirror Jade here. What they're gonna try to do here is activate its effect and then bounce it, because if the card gets flipped face down on the field, like we just explained with the Morrigan, oh, actually, can they even target with Morrigan? It might not be possible. So this might not have been their bad, huh? Nope, they could have targeted their own card. This unfortunate for them, I guess. So if it's face down on the field, it like forgets it was negated or something. So they're attempting to put it face down in the extra deck, but that's not how the ruling works. I don't make the rules. Don't ask me. They're just gonna bring out this guy, and this just deleted. Also on summon, I just non-targeting banish whatever they summon anyways. It never triggers. But this is the only way I have of actually outing the Saint Azamina, so I kind of still have to hit it here. And now since I sent a card off the Mirror Jade, we get to use the Quem to revive the Cartesia that I sent. But at this point, they actually just have nothing at all, so I'm just gonna go for the body and just swing. And like, I have a more billion damage on field, they're just dead. Goodbye. And for our final replay here, we're going to lead off by griefing and not activating Fuelos in the standby phase. This is 100% a misplay. I say this every video. I think you're supposed to use them in the standby phase, and I still just hella griefed it. Fortunately, we're never punished, so that's pretty nice. And I'll show you guys the festival deck list after this as well. But yeah, it's always nice when I misplay, because that means it's a learning moment, not just for me, but also for you guys. So if I make the mistakes, you don't have to, you know? It should be like the clickbait. I watched 10,000 hours of Stranger Things, so you don't have to, or whatever, right? I griefed every single time for 10,000 matches, so you don't have to. Something like that. I don't know. All right. Anyhow, I'm going to fast forward this. The game state is going to be Sting, Flame, Horn. And then they're going to have Labubu, Phimena, and 2 unknowns in hand. There we go. All right, so 2 unknowns, and then this is from left to right, Sting, Flame, Horn. They have the Gulamel here. Yeah, and we know it's the Labubu, Phimena in hand, and then 2 unknown. So we're going to draw into Fusion Deployment, which is great, because we're just going to summon another Albaz from deck. This threatens the Star Source to pop 1. Remember, they win the matchup by using Flame on Branded Fusion. I don't really care much about the Horn, and Sting can be annoying, but I can play around it. So I'm going to attempt to make the Star Source here a light or dark dragon monster, which is Albaz, and a dragon monster, which is Arthalion, and then we're going to delete the Flame because we know exactly where it is. It's going to force disruption, so we're eating a Veiler here. Then we're going to use High Spirits. It doesn't really matter that I'm chaining it. I do because I'm cool like that, I guess. Whatever. And we're gonna go ahead and send Titaniclad, so we at least get Quem. Like, if we manage to just barely break the board, we have nothing. We then summon out Quem. That puts another Albaz in grave. I mean, or something else that we would want for follow-up. We get to bring back the Albaz. We get to go into Mirror Jade on their turn. So it's at least something. They see this, and they're going to use the other card in their hand, the Magnemite, to just delete this instantly. And now we can use Kit. That's going to grab us our Branded Fusion. And yeah, we have full knowledge of the game state at this point, because we know that it's Phimena and Malulu in hand. They're going to use this early to go into the Secretarion. Going to go ahead and pop the Kit for some reason. I guess they just felt like it. Yeah. So here they make the Secretarion early before I can Branded Fusion, which is correct, but I don't think they did it for that reason. You will see here, right? They could just have flamed the Brefu, right? So essentially what happens is I'm going to Branded Fusion here, and now there's 4 cases, right? There is they flame, I don't have droplets. They kind of win. Then there's they flame, I do have droplets, they lose the game on the spot. And then there's they don't flame, I don't have droplets. And there's they don't flame, I do have droplets. So going through these cases, right, it's just like a flowchart, right? Well, we'll start off with they flame and I don't have droplets, right? Then they're negating the Branded Fusion. I just go -1. They get to draw a card off of Flame. They still have the Floodgate. Good game state for them, right? So this is like best case. This is what they're going for, right? Now, if I do have droplets, I am dodging the Flame. They don't draw one. They lose the Secretarion Floodgate, and I get to just go full combo. So this is how they giga lose the game. So since you would like to not giga lose the game, because that usually means you're winning, what should they have done? And the correct play is they actually don't flame. Remember, they have the Secretarion. I can't activate dragons or spellcasters. So what can I summon off Branded Fusion? It's a fusion monster that mentions Albaz as material. So if we look at the Albion, it's a dragon. This can't activate. It does nothing. This doesn't mention Albaz. This doesn't mention Albaz. This doesn't mention Albaz. This is a dragon, so it can't activate. It does nothing. We could make Rinbrum. It's questionable how much this helps, to be honest. Especially because Like they're not gonna use, like there's no extra deck monster effects that can really be activated here, so I don't get the bounce. Its effect is in the graveyard to summon Albaz, which is a dragon that I special summon, so it does nothing either. This doesn't mention Albaz. This is a dragon. I don't have fusion synchros or links on the field, so I can't make Mirror J. This doesn't mention Albaz. Went over this, doesn't mention Albaz, doesn't mention Albaz. So I could just make Rinbrum, right? Which is losing game state. So, and they just basically, they get to keep the spell negate, they get to keep their floodgate, and I make Rinbrum, which is completely worthless. Now, if they don't use flame and I have the droplets, I have to use droplets to negate the floodgate so I can even resolve the branded fusion properly, right? So I would chain droplets here to my branded fusion regardless, because otherwise my Albion or my Lubellion cannot activate. In that case, they can then flame my droplets to save the floodgate, and then it's the same case as if I didn't have the droplets, right? So they get to keep their floodgate and I lose. So they're basically winning in every case where they don't use flame on branded fusion, except if I droplets pitch a trap, right? Then they're cooked. But I'm on 60 cards. It's not super realistic. Yes, I completely sacked them here, I guess, right? But I still think this is the wrong play. And they super overgreeded into the single worst option, because this is the greediest option and it gets them punished the hardest. Yeah, so now I also got all my Dracotail stuff into rotation. Go Lubellion. Get to send this here. If I drop it for like 2 or whatever, he can also just bounce his own guys and fizzles it. So completely cooked. Don't greed this. Think about the flow charts. Think about the lines. This is what makes you a better player here. And here's the deck list I use. It looks very, very similar to the second one I was playing in ranked that I showed you guys. We're playing Retaliating Sea because of all the Dracotail players, of course, right? We have only the small package of the guys here. The event-specific bans were, I think, Pimeno went to 1. They had Branded Fusion at 1, they had Ketu at 1, and they had Opening and High Spirits at 1 for this as well. Also, in the extra deck, I was playing, not here, but afterwards, I was playing the Alba Lenatus. Can I actually find it off of clicking on Albus here? This thing right here. Because you can contact fuse your Albaz or your Albion the Shrouded Dragon into the Resonator board. You just completely out their entire board, and that was very popular in the event as well. Plus, into the Dracotail mirror, it's also very strong. Most people don't respect it, and if they do, it like eats a lot of their disruptions. So like you can just set Albaz, fuse off part of their board, right? They're cooked. They out Secretarion as well. So that's super goated way to play through that. And all you need to do is somehow get this guy on field, or get this on field, or you can have like the fusion deployment to get it on field. There's a lot of ways. It's a very good out. So I think it was very strong in the event, but these were like from early on. And yeah, here, spoilers for next video. All right, guys, hope you enjoyed. Hope you learned something. And I hope you learned from my mistakes so you don't make them. All right, see ya.